Next speaker is Byfield Gordon with the 376 Bomb Group. Kim Hobbs is going to introduce him. Kim and I met about 5 years ago, I think, in Phoenix, I believe. And I was taking a real early flight out of the hotel that morning. I mean, it was like 5 a.m. or something. I can't believe there's anybody was up, but Kim was in the lobby. And I remember thinking, I don't know if this guy's just getting in for the night or if he's just getting up early. I wasn't sure. But anyhow, we've been friends ever since. So Kim Hobbs is going to introduce Byfield Gordon.
Well, I don't know how many times that you want to hear about how we enlisted in the infantry and then, better thought of it, transferred over to the Army Air Corps, but this is another one of those stories. Byfield is from a small town just north of me in Oklahoma. The story of his life before the Army would make an interesting and excellent book. Quit school, support the family business, the sole breadwinner, enlisted in the Army just to take a burden off the family and so you don't starve to death, and enlisted in the 45th Infantry out of Lawton, Oklahoma. And later, after having transferred over to the Army Air Corps, reconnected with his Oklahoma roots at the Battle of Anzio, which is another, you could spend all day on that event. But he connected with his Oklahoma roots with his friends in the 45th Infantry at the Battle of Anzio as a command pilot leading the lead plane on the mission to Anzio. And this is Byfield Gordon.
What a pleasure to be talking to such a great group. And it's wonderful, all of you younger people that are honoring your parents, coming out to these reunions. Just want you to know how I feel about that. I wanted to talk about Sunday before I start Anzio. You have not heard our chaplain, it's Oliver, Robert Oliver. You have got something in store for you. He's a wonderful man of God. And Sunday he'll be talking, and you'll never hear another word any better than what he will be giving you. He's a great man. He's been honoring his father, Colonel Jack Roberts, or Jack Oliver, for about 10 or 12 years. And now, let me get into Anzio. We were in the, I was in the 376, and I was a squadron operations officer. And we switched squadrons for different missions. And the 45th Air Force, 15th Air Force came out calling in the B-24s, the heavy bombers, to bomb Anzio. There was danger that they were going to be wiped out. The 45th Infantry was down there, and I had been in that. I think at Oklahoma and Texas, 36th Division, Infantry Division, I think was there. We were to bomb that day at 20,000 feet. The weather was horrible, and I had Colonel Graff in the co-pilot seat. He was the mission commander, and well, we took off. We were supposed to be bombing at 20,000, and we had to keep coming down to stay in visual flight room, keep the family, keep the 18 aircraft together. And we ended up out in the water west of Anzio at 12,000 feet. Our bombing area was roughly 8,000. there was a railroad track running up to our target, actually. And we had been briefed to stay away from that railroad track. That it had portable flak on it. And again, the visibility was horrible. I put the 18 aircraft in a large circle and say, Colonel, it's decision time. Now, this is his first mission. And he said, well, you've got more time than this than I have. What do you think we ought to do? Sir, you've just made a decision. We're going in. I got friends down there. Then I called the navigator, and I said, Navigator, take us right down that railroad track. Now, what it's supposed to be, portable flags on that thing. And we were very low at that point. And we got a lot of flak, a lot of holes, but we got no casualties. We got in and out. We were very fortunate. And we followed that track right up to the target, and there was a little confusion. The bombardier was tense, trying to get to the target. He forgot to unlock the racks to make the bomb go. He and the navigator grabbed for the switch. They toggled one bomb, and everybody stumbled on that bomb. The next day, the communique came out from 50th Air Force saying that we had saved the beachhead, and that we had what we did, we killed, I don't know how many troops, and ammunition storage was there. But there was a single strand of bombs that severed the track 2,000 yards down away from the target, and that was our bombs, the rest of them. Well, we got back the next that night, and we were really thankful for having such a successful mission. The next day, the communique came out that from the 15th that we had saved the beachhead, and that was really rewarding. Colonel Graff got the Silver Star for first edition. Isn't that wonderful? Wow. And I got a DFC, a Distinguished Flying Cross. So it was a great tour. How much time I got left?
Keep it going.
It was a great tour. I had 50 missions. I was hit on my 49th mission, and I flew. I did fly my 50th. If I've got time, I'd tell you about something.
Go. Yep.
All right. I was standing in the office one day. I had been promoted to the group operations officer, and I was the first lieutenant. They called for a lieutenant colonel, and Colonel Graff wanted me to come home on a 30-day leave and come back and fly 50 more missions. I puzzled over that for a long while. And I said, Colonel, I don't think I can fly 50 more missions. But anyway, he let me go home, and then he let me finish up. But, well, I had a call from division ops officer, and he wanted me to set up an airplane by tail number, and they had never done that before. He said, now I don't want a skeleton crew, I'd like for you to be his co-pilot. You got it. What time will you be here? 6 p.m. Well, we went out to the airplane. They were surrounded by civilians. And they had pulled the belly turret out of the airplane and had put in a radar dome. Now we're going to be flying over Ploesti, taking radar pictures. We had been bombing Ploesti for eons. We had one, when I first arrived there, they had just finished the 8th Air Force was in Africa with our two groups in Africa. 100, I think, and 80 aircraft went out to bomb low level. And there was some confusion over the target. On that flight, we lost 80 aircraft, something in that neighborhood. 10 men to a crew plus any photographers that would have been on. It was horrible. I was transferred, I was supposed to be 8 Air Force, but I was carrying the orders for 19 crews. I went back to see the 376. They had flown up to the drop-off point when the flight had dropped us off. It was quite a ways away. I went back to see Colonel Colonel Compton. He was a dapper guy. He was a real driver. I liked him. He was good. And I told him, I said, sir, there's 19 crews of us over there on the desert, and we can't fly. They don't want us. And you think you can get it transferred over here? So I know you need crews. He sure did. So I'll work on it. Well, I got away with that pretty good. I'll go back and talk to my boss. And we got transferred. And the 8 went back to England, and my 19 crews, we stayed there in Benghazi. We flew out of Benghazi for a while, and then from Benghazi we moved to Tunis. We were about 60 miles south of Tunis, actually, on a dirt runway. And cracks in the ground about that wide. We tried to find the bottom, and you couldn't find the bottom of those cracks. It was so dry. We moved to Italy, Thanksgiving Day of 43. And the boss said, squadron commander said, you take care of the move, and I'll take care of the combat. And so we did that. We moved. That was another story, but I'll not go into that. It was rough, but we made it. Well, I think it was a great tour. 5 minutes.
You got 5 more minutes to tell us a story?
Well,
You want to tell about the radar? Leslie was radar with Apple.
okay. Back to Apple and the division operations team. He was flying. We did a square bracket around Florida, and came home. About 2 weeks later, 15th was going out en masse, and I'm leading 2 diversionary groups out ahead of the main force. We flew up to about 400 miles or so of OSD, and then we each broke away to go to our separate targets. And we pulled the fighters away all right. My target was to be on the Danube, and it was, again, the oil and oil storage. We were always after that, trying to stop them from being able to fly or to use their tanks and all the rest of it.
Leading the group in the flat.
We turned from after we made our turn, our approach on Floesti, we turned back then to get our target. And I was about to turn on the IP, and we had about 75 fighters come out of the sun. They were on us before you could say Jack Robinson. Oh, they was bad. They got 6 of my aircraft. Ooh, I was angry. And we turned on target. I had a new bombardier. If he's here today, I'd kill him. I gave him an 11-minute bomb run. And we flew into a black cloud of flak where they had been firing. And I knew it was going to be hot. And he went over the target with his rack swath. And then the idiot wanted another run. And they had our altitude, they had our airspeed. We wouldn't have gotten one airplane out of there. And Colonel Kraft was sitting in the right seat. And I waited for the industry on the panel to show me that the bombs were away. I said, "This is too hot for me." And I started to turn, and just as I turned, wham! And I got hit, full opened up about the size of a dinner plate, right by my left leg. And I wore about 4 or 5 suits of clothing. Temperature up there was horrible. The tank going 60 below, and very little heat on the B-24. Well, the concussion of that blow blew us out of formation, and our wingman didn't want to fight, but call back on us. So finally, they decided we were all right. The engineer looked at them in the instruments, and they're all okay. It knocked out all of our radio. No communication. So we got the community formation back in place. We had one airplane that had lost an engine. We had to throttle back to get him home. So we got him home. It was a good mission. And I flew the 50th one. I had a friend in the 5th Air Force, Colonel, and I called and wrote him a letter asking if he could get me an airplane to fly home. And I had a Cossack guy that wanted to come back to be reworked. And I got to fly it back, and I had a whole plane load of people that had finished and ready to come home. So it was great to get back. That's my story.